again. This is Hanshi Armando, JEMMOTT, Hanshi. I'm here to explain in video 6 a continuation of video 5 on Kime. What we're going to do is we're going to get into a little deeper explanations about certain aspects of some of the ingredients for Kime, as well as we're going to kind of create a distinction between the stationary principles and the biomechanics, with at least maybe one, probably two biomechanics we're going to study and explain a few things, and an additional information on shock power that I spoke about at the end of the video last time. So if you like what you've been seeing throughout all these videos, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope you'll be able to extract more information and go into your journey in karate. Thank you. Last time we spoke about Kime, and we were speaking about solidity and so on. What I want to do is I want to expand on that topic a bit. I want to make a distinction between the stationary principles and the biomechanics. Okay, to be clear, the stationary principles is one that I spoke about initially, that the stances can provide, the stances and the body can provide. So we talked about mass. The body provides mass because we weigh X amount. The body provides stability if the stances are stable and strong. And then the body provides solidity if you are crunching, squeezing the shoulders down to the tanding, tightening the buttocks, driving the leg. That creates a degree of solidity because of the connection between the joints and the bones and the muscles and so on and so forth. So I want you to think about that for a while. Now, the separation between that and the biomechanics are a way to increase speed and acceleration. So when impact occurs, then the impact is at a higher increased acceleration rate. So it's important to understand these two and make this differentiation. Okay, let me go into some points about the solidity. Starting from the feet, the solidity, you must think of it from down up. Because if I were solid up here, but weak down here, automatically it would take away the power because it would be wobbling on top. I would hit and I would bounce back. So this starts from the drive. Now I'm going to use this as a symbol. This is a symbol of something. This is on a fulcrum. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply pressure to my back leg, not by pushing on it this way, because the leg actually goes dead and then there's no coil for the next move or no coil for the impact. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to pull this side up, which pushes this side down. If you do this, you will soon feel that your back heel has more connection to the floor. This automatically transfers to your hip instantaneously. So when you make contact, you don't have to try to make connection. The connection has already been made. So this hip pulling upward while pushing down the buttocks, squeezing down into the heel, almost straight to the heel, creates this contact connection. This adds to stability and to solidity at the same time. Okay? So thinking in those terms, you have to practice your flexibility in your ankles also. Okay? Practice the flexibility in your ankles so that when you do this, you're able to feel the pressure in your ankles and feel it in your heel and not have to move this out for comfort, because then this also creates a dead zone. There is no drive because it doesn't have the traction. It doesn't give my body, my hip, enough opportunity to displace inward because it is pulling me back as I'm moving forward. I demonstrated this before. So feeling, for this to be able to rotate this way, I have to have the foot pointing in that direction and the pressure down. Pressure down to almost be able to lift the front heel by having pressure down. But you need to feel the tightening in the buttock and squeezing downward. These are factors, as again, additionally, the hara, shoulders down, all that for solidity. Stability, and your mass is what's creating this. When you're going to add the biomechanic, you add the biomechanic by adding mass. The mass is driven by the connection to the floor. The coil here creates a spring action. It's a spring action. Spring action, then it drives this part of the body forward, which is an addition of mass to the action. This drive drives the mass. The mass drives the technique. And at the end of the technique, if everything is aligned the way it should be, it will create continuous power from the floor all the way through. From the floor all the way through, and continue connected in the impact. You know, you don't freeze in action. That's a misconception about karate, but it's okay. But you need to feel that when the moment of kime occurs, something happens. Everything comes together. And then you can move to another technique. Then you can move to another technique and have kime with that technique as well. Okay. One more aspect I was going to talk about is the shock. Now the shock, when we say shock, we're thinking something happening instantaneously. It has to happen instantaneously. So if I slow down, if I go at the same speed and decrease, a certain speed and decrease, when I crash, it's not going to be a big deal. I'm actually slowing down. If I go at the same speed and I crash, that's a bigger deal. But if you can accelerate and then crash, then that's what we're trying to achieve. So the acceleration we're going to get, this part of the body is going to do the driving. This part of the body is going to be adding the mass and the speed, because when the hips whip, the shoulders whip. When the shoulders whip, if the hand is relaxed enough, then relax, 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 you can then shock. You can then, all of a sudden, acceleration, shock. Acceleration, shock. When you achieve this, okay, for you to achieve this, you have to practice. Now, you may practice down here. Separately, we want to practice the hand as relaxed as it can be, the shoulder, and then just shock, 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 shock. See if you can whip it out, just this only, whip it out. Then you add the body solidity. Even out to here. Constantly thinking, how do I relax? How do I relax and maximize the drive, the mass adding, and then the snap at the end? Okay, and as I showed last time, the snap has to occur in all technique. All technique. Okay, now I'm going to work with my senior student here. He's in charge of a lot of technical stuff, so I work with him because he demonstrates what's supposed to happen, and we're going to use this opportunity. I'm going to walk around his technique to show you what happens when there's power loss and what needs to occur. Okay, ready? Oops. Okay, now, Jefferson. Okay, he's doing a reverse punch. Reverse punch. Hardly any movement. Hardly any movement. Okay, relax. Like that. Okay, now that is using connection to the torso, connection, hip driving, heel connection to the buttock, to the tailbone, and total mental focus. Okay, now I'm going to, as strong as this is, I'm going to give a little advanced caveat here, a little advanced data. Now I'm going to have him squeeze his inseams together. Okay, well, squeezing the inseam. Even less bounce back, if you can notice, less bounce back, because using the inseam instead of the rotation also aligns your back leg to your tailbone, and so it comes straight out through the body, and now it's direct alignment almost, because he's squeezing internally towards his axis. Now we're going to check points where you lose power. So Kime, this is alignment. This is alignment. Is it aligned to drive the technique? But there's also toes gripping. There's also solidity, right? There's also mental focus on a straight line from the tanden, shooting energy forward through the third eye, looking beyond. Now we're gonna have him relax his elbow. Just relax your elbow. You see, if you hit something solid, the direct energy goes back in the opposite direction. Lose it, let elbow relax. It's hard for him to relax the elbow. Ready, because he's not used to training incorrectly. Again, now strong. Now your shoulders up. Now this is disconnecting the shoulder from the body. He's lost through the elbow because it's not connected. So when we talked about pulling the shoulders down to the tanden, that's what we're talking about. Okay, now he's going to relax your hip. Right? Not your hip, but your buttocks. Right? Now he loses it down here. It manifests up here, but he's losing it here. Okay, and if he does his toes outward, okay, now he doesn't get any rotation at all, so he can't add this part of the body to the technique. Even if he tries to be strong, it bounces back because it's not there. Now put your toes back forward again. Yes. 45. Here. Very minimum bounce back. Maximum energy going this way. Squeezing in the inseams. There you go. Energy, total energy. Relax. Okay, now, thinking in these terms, if you're able to do technique, as I said, the biomechanic, the part of the movement, okay, if you just stand right here, it's like an inanimate object. In certain styles, they practice this. This is very good. I call it bracing. So it's like Goju Ryu. Okay, they will check to see how hard you have everything. Everything is strong, everything is connected. Okay, this is what we're trying to achieve at the end of the technique. So feeling, when you're doing that, you're trying to get that consolidation. Okay, now we're gonna do, okay, pretty, relax. We're gonna do a block. He's gonna block. First he's gonna do a tight block where he's using his muscles to go each. Okay, he hits my hand, good. Again, same thing, hits my hand. Okay, now he's gonna hit it with snap, which is total relax to create shock. Ready? Okay, my hand went a lot farther. Again. Because you don't need to go all the way up and chase the technique. Once you block it where you are blocking so you can go in. So you want to not waste any time by going all the way out and then coming in. So it's right away. Okay, one more time. Which block you want to try? Okay, get on barai. Same thing, feelings, body, itch, real tight, itch, good. Now snap it in there, right? Ready? Okay, that's a whole different story right there. Because the relaxation creates that continuation. Okay, so I'm gonna demonstrate Kime on an X-ray, which is a tool that I use for us to practice how shocking, how snap creates. But I'm going to use it on his gi. This is what we do. We practice sundome, which is arresting the technique, but we're not holding the technique back. We're letting the technique go. So we're trying to measure the distance without hitting, but hitting the gi. So I'm from here thinking, okay, so you're thinking, ready, you back up a tad. All right, here, more relaxed. And you're gonna have one hand do it better than the other, but the idea is you want to feel totally in, totally committed to the snap, totally committed to the technique. Let me do it now.
Yeah.
Okay. This training tool is so you can practice your snap at the end of the technique. So feeling, if you are pushing is not the objective. The objective is to touch just the skin of the X-ray. Just the skin of the X-ray. And transfer the power even though. Not a push, but more, it's more like a bang. The idea is to relax to the point where you can drive, not push, drive. Okay, so this is a tool so you can feel it instantaneous strike. You can hear it, it sounds different. When you get it, you'll be able to understand that you're getting the snap effect that you want. Thank you for showing up for this video as well. As we said before, these are all building blocks so you can practice these concepts, study them in an isolated way, and then reintegrate them into your karate. Us, hope you sign up and subscribe to our channel. Us.